Rachel, and today I'll be covering week 5 in the Milan Art Mastery Program. We just came back after a 1-week break, and this week we tackled gesture drawing. Gesture drawing is drawing people in various poses, which I find challenging, and we're also having a time limit of like 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and so on and so forth. So I conscripted my teens as models, and I set to drawing. Here's a couple of the things that I drew, but here's one of the drawings and another. Here's one of them, another. Here's one on the sofa. And at one point, my kids were trying to create really difficult positions, and then they came to look at my drawings and were laughing because they look so silly. Here you can see, you can even see my son's face here. Here's another one. The leg up. I tried to make it as difficult as possible. So after doing this exercise, I realized how badly I need to work on my proportions. They don't really look realistic, but it's just an exercise. They're not intended to be finished products, so this is something that I could work on in the future. You know, a good way to do this would be to go out in some urban situation and just bring a sketchbook and do a little people watching and sketch people as they walk by and as they sit having coffee and stuff like that. So that's a good idea for the future. The next thing we did was start an oil painting of fat over lean. Fat over lean refers to the oil paint being very thick and fatty and oily, and you start with leaner, things that have been thinned out, things with solvents, and so the base layer needs to always be thinner than every layer that comes afterwards. So we did this in stages, and I selected the leopard from the reference library. And I'm really excited with how this turned out. I think I did this in about 4 different sessions, and I actually have a couple touch-ups that I want to do. The coaches gave me some great suggestions. For example, this front paw here, it doesn't pop from the body, and if I were to add a cooler glaze back behind the arm here, the paw, then it would stand out a little bit, and I love that suggestion. And another suggestion is to add some warmth here to the cheek area, and to add some of the modeling paste here to the nose to help it come forward a little bit and make the leopard a little bit more 3D. This is the first time I've ever used this cold wax. I have Williamsburg wax medium. I was so excited to pull this out because I've never used it, didn't know what to do with it. And I used it just here, up here in this little cloud area. And I also used it on the tree branch. And so in between stages, when I was working on the background, to the glazing, to more glazing, to the spots, to adding the thicker oil paint and the opaques on top, we worked on some more gesture drawings. These took about maybe 20 minutes each. And I selected 4 from the reference library and also sketched these. These were intended to be done kind of by eye. I really wanted to pull out my scale tool, but we weren't supposed to be using that, so this was done by eye. We're trying to get the gestures by drawing circles where the joints are, where the muscles are, and just get the idea of movement in these. So these were fun to do, but I found that they weren't as accurate as they would have been had I used the scale tool. But that's okay, these were not supposed to be finished drawings. The last drawing that we did for this week is another gesture drawing. It's an expressive statue drawing, and we got to select from the photo reference library a Greek or Roman statue. This is a lady carrying a water jug or a jug of something, and I was super excited to start on this using graphite and charcoal. And this one could be partway finished. It needed to be looser than we're used to. And I started off with laying out the proportions. You count how many heads this lady is, and then you mark where things should be. So if you were to look closely, you might see some lines here and there that tell me where does the elbow end up. And this little goblet that she's carrying, I had it like way over here. I just couldn't figure out how to get it in the right place. After many attempts, I got it to look pretty much like the statue, at least somewhat like the statue, and I'm super excited with how she turned out. An extra effect that we were to do is to add some little bit of abstract marks. They suggested using what is called water-soluble graphite, and they come in crayon or pencil form or powder form. So I have the crayons, and this brand here, I have it in 2B, 6B, and 9B. And basically, I added these scribbles to it, which was a little bit scary to like mess up a drawing. Then I took a watercolor brush, dipped in water, and I traced some of these circular marks, hoping to create a watercolor wash. However, it didn't really do that, so I'm not sure if it was the actual crayon that doesn't wet very well, or whether I just didn't have enough of this on the paper for it to interact with the water. So my guess is that I need to play around with these a little bit more and scribble some darkly and then take a brush with water and see if I can get it to create a watercolor wash. So this was the final result, and it was really fun to do. So overall, this week was, once again, a challenging week. I find that every week has its challenges, and every week we grow in our skills. So this week, my favorite thing to do was make this fat over lean oil painting. I'm super excited with how it turned out. I could never imagine painting something like this before taking this class, and so I'm looking forward to what next week holds. So if you're interested in taking a program like this, learning how to oil paint and paint in acrylics and mixed media, I highly suggest the Milan Art Mastery Program. This is not a sponsored video or anything. I'm just learning a lot, and I find it's fun. You can go at your own pace. If you're interested, just go to the YouTube channel or go to their website. Or if you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them. Just drop a question in the comment section down below, and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and go make some art today.